stories from our week, how our furnace died in the midst of record cold temperatures, and how we celebrated Christmas.
We recently did 2 videos where we talked about the importance of being prepared for power outages during possible winter storms. What we didn't talk about was what would happen if your furnace went out when it was 11 below zero with 45 mile an hour winds. And that's exactly what happened to us.
In a weird case of life imitating art, the furnace actually died in the middle of absolute record cold temperatures. So we're going to talk about how we kept warm, and we did, during the power outage.
You know, what's kind of funny about this story is I had just done some of the modifications to the furnace with an electrical company that we had the furnace so that we could run it off of our gas-powered generator so we wouldn't be without heat. And it was the very next day that I woke up to the house being 56 degrees. Ouch. And I knew the furnace wasn't working.
So Larry immediately sprang into action while I stayed in bed. True story, guys. When it's warm, let me know. And he hooked up 2 of our kerosene heaters. We have 3 kerosene heaters.
Yeah.
He started 2 of them immediately. They're both 10,000 BTU heaters.
That's right. They're big heaters.
And believe it or not, within a matter of maybe an hour or so, both the upstairs and downstairs were running in the mid-60s, even though it was 11 degrees below zero outside. Now, we grabbed the GoPro and we took some footage for you so you could see exactly how we had it set up. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. It's still registering sub-zero temperatures outside. It is still 1 degree below zero. But in the middle of the night, it got down way below zero, and the wind howled, gusting to 45 miles an hour. And right in the middle of the whole storm, our furnace stopped working.
Kaput.
Coffee. Coffee is keeping me warm.
We got plenty of that, don't we?
We did take one of the things that we did do, because it's a pretty big area, even though those kerosene heaters actually will heat a fairly large area, to move the heat effectively toward the areas of the house that have exposed pipes. Larry set up just a couple of fans.
Well, we have 1,600 square feet on each floor. So the way that the house is laid out, it's not divided up an awful lot. They liked big, long rooms in this house. So the whole basement is basically open and the entire upstairs is open. So there's a lot of room there that has to be heated. And in order to make sure that the kitchen and the pipes were warm, I had to just blow some air in on both floors to make sure that we had pretty even heating going on.
Right, just with a small oscillating fan. And the other thing that we did was open cabinet doors, because that makes it easier for the heat that is in the house to get into those areas and keep the pipes from freezing.
So at 6:30 in the morning, I got all that started. Then at about 8:30, I called my friend who worked in heating and air conditioning for, some 40 years, and kind of showed him what the symptoms were on the furnace. And over the phone, he diagnosed it as the gas valve. So here we are with the ailing furnace. This is the furnace that we had all ready to go on backup power, having installed this switch. We had an electrician come over and install this switch into it just a couple of days ago. And it worked fine after that. So this was not a result of the electrical work that we had done to it. This is a result of this little part right here. That is the gas valve. And that, it looks like it's original to the furnace, and that has gone out, so it is not getting gas when it's trying to turn on and ignite the burner. So being armed with that information, I was able to finally get a hold of a company about the 4th try, because remember,
he's working his way down the list of companies, and he's like, I am going to keep calling until I get a real person on the phone.
Yeah, because we really didn't want to wait till Christmas. By that time, it would be too late. We knew we wouldn't get a hold of anybody. And this was 2 days before Christmas. And frankly, a lot of businesses were closed on the 23rd of December. So I wasn't even sure if we were going to get the part. And therein lies some of the rest of the story. But first, we got a hold of somebody from a really good company, and he said he was on his way to Peoria to go get some parts for another job that he was doing, and that he would just go ahead and pick up the gas valve for us.
Larry was talking to this guy on the phone like he was a heating and air conditioning expert because he had all this information from his bestie that he had called early in the morning. How many of the rest of you, tell us in the comments section, have a bestie you could call early in the morning and wake them up and say, hey, can you FaceTime with me? I got a problem. So we were very grateful for that information. In true Larry being terribly honest form, he did tell the HVAC guy, I got this information from my friend who's been in HVAC for 40 years.
Yeah. So with that in mind, then we had the house cozy warm. Everything was taken care of. We could have run it on kerosene for we could have gone probably a couple of weeks, because remember, we had just filled up all of our containers, and we keep quite a bit of kerosene on hand. So we could have run it for quite a while. Even at 11 below zero, we could have kept the house warm without a furnace.
And if you missed that video where we actually showed you, we took you around town with us and showed you exactly what we did to get our house ready for this possible power outage in record cold temperatures. We'll make sure that that's linked up above and in the description of the video.
Yeah, and speaking of record cold and record weather, we just want to say I hope we don't have too many viewers that are in the Buffalo, New York area, but we feel so bad for what's going on there with the 4 feet of snow that you guys received. And no doubt, probably some are without power in that area where that part of the storm came through. That was horrendous.
That is really scary, y'all, and not nearly like we didn't go through even a fraction of that in the Midwest.
But the whole point of these videos is, are you ready for something like that? What would you do if you couldn't get out of your house? You're trapped inside. These people in New York, they're not going to be able to even get to a warming center. Yeah. Do you have a way to keep warm? And that's something that you need to think about.
So by this point in the story, we've got the expert lined up. He's on his way to the parts store, and in a weird, and I do mean weird, twist of fate, he gets to the parts store, the lights are off in the building, and he's thought, because they were closed. The parts store was physically closed for the holiday already, and for some reason, he thought, I'm just going to try the door. So he tries the door. The door is unlocked to the business. So he walks in, and in the semi-light, he sees one employee there, and he said, look, I got 2 families. I need 2 parts. Can you sell them to me? And the guy had the parts on hand that we needed and sold him not only the parts for us, but the parts for the other family across town that also was without heat.
And the other family was in much worse shape. They were concerned about pipes freezing up at their home. By that time, they had been without heat for 2 days. They had no backup heat of any kind. They were on a boiler system, but he was able to get them going before he came over to our house in the afternoon.
But what a blessing.
Yes.
An unexpected blessing that he was able to actually buy the part.
And an answer to prayer for sure, that we were up and running within just a couple of hours.
Yeah. I think it was about 6:30 that night that we were completely back up and running again. So y'all, that's what happens. And what was weird about it was we just did 2 videos talking about how to get ready for winter power outages, never thinking in a million years that the electricity would stay on, but the furnace would go out. So we're back up, we're running now. We did want to share with you guys while we're running this video, we got some really great things in the mail from Under the Medium viewers. So we want to share a little bit about that, and then stick with us because we're going to show you our very fave gifts that we got from our kids for Christmas this year. And it will not surprise you that some of these gifts were DIY and some of them were secondhand. So they're really cool stuff.
One of our regular viewers, he's a really fun guy. He rides an e-bike that he actually put together himself. He does a lot of DIY projects, and he has a 3D printer. So he actually made some very personal gifts for Hope and I, and he knows exactly what I like, and he kind of patterned them after some of the things that I've shared with on some of these videos. So what he did was he made some cookie cutters using his printer software. And I don't know how it works. I've never used a 3D printer, but this is the Enterprise from Star Trek, and you can make cookies with that.
Here we go.
And
right, hold the other one. Dun, dun,
and then and this, of course, is the insignia that they used on the the original Star Trek series,
So
which
fun.
is my favorite all-time program. That out of all the TV shows I've ever watched, this is my favorite. In fact, I watched just a couple of them yesterday. So then,
Oh wait, now here the Klingons are coming, you guys.
oh, actually, this
that
is a
Klingons?
Romulan.
Oh, it's a
That's a
Romulan.
Romulan battle cruiser, and these are the kind that they turned invisible. This particular model was really featured on the fourth movie of what was it? It was Star Trek 4 where they
Oh, the
returned
voyage home.
The
Yeah,
voyage
Voyage
home.
Home. There you
Yeah,
go.
so that's how they flew back and they saved the whales in the 1980s and were able to save the planet using that cruiser.
All right, I'll have to make sugar cookies. When I make sugar cookies with them, I'll show them.
Now he knows that I like. This was my first car. Was a Volkswagen Beetle. So now we have a Beetle cookie cutter, and I can't wait for these cookies to come out. And for those that have watched the very famous Christmas Story movie, this is the famous lamp light from
The lamp
movie.
leg light.
Oh, love
True
it.
story, guys. We have a friend who is a very gifted artist, and he made a huge one of these, like 6 feet tall. And every Christmas, it lit up, right?
Yeah.
So it looked like a huge version of the leg lamp.
Oh yeah, it was
From that movie.
7 feet tall in his front yard.
It was.
Unbelievable.
I think he won like weird, like Christmas decorating awards from his neighborhood association for his leg lamp.
Yeah, and then this is a tree ornament, and this has my e-bike on it and my name. So Steve, these were awesome. But there's one more thing that Steve did. I have never seen anything like this. He 3D printed a photo of Hope and I, and I don't know if we're even going to be able to show this, but there's a photo of myself and Hope etched in to this plastic piece, and he has a place for a candle to go on the back here, but that won't be bright enough in these TV lights. So I'm just going to see if I can light it up a little bit. Oh,
I see us.
think
Ooh,
you
can see us.
Yes, there it is. You see how you can see us through that, and it's a really good black and white image of us. Unbelievable. So that is some real talent, a very personalized gift. And thank you, Steve, for all the work. That was Steve Gorkowski from Wisconsin that put all that together.
Okay, not to be outdone, I received slippers from Sheila. I was leaning down just a second ago because I was actually taking it off. I wear these like ever since she sent them. Thank you, Sheila. She made these. She makes them and gives them away as Christmas gifts. I absolutely love them. And they are on my feet almost like 24/7 since I got them.
Really fun.
So warm. And
Oh,
they're
yeah.
very, very cute.
Yeah,
Okay,
very,
so she
very
sent a pair
nice.
for Larry, a pair for me. Now, what did our kids do for us? Some of these were so incredibly clever. Very, very fun stuff. So we'll start with, we have a favorite secondhand bookstore in this area. If you guys are ever in central Illinois, you have to stop and you have to check out the Book Rack Used Gifts and Books.
Yeah.
And she has
A gal named Stacy Harden runs
Stacy
that.
Harden, one of our favorite people. She's
Oh, yeah.
totally invested in our area, and she has a foundation where she collects money and makes sure that the schools in our area, each one of those classrooms has bookshelves of brand new books. Just an amazing, amazing person. But anybody recognize this? Tell us in the comment section. This was one of my favorite books to read to the kids when they were young. Do not let the pigeon drive the bus. That is such a cool book. So much fun. So, but what I like about this is that when you wear the socks, when you buy the socks, each purchase helps to fund literacy programs and book donations to communities in need. How cool is that? So that came from that bookstore, and this came from my son James and his girlfriend Hannah. I also received Vegan Holiday Kitchen Cookbook because you always need new recipes. It's a very fun book. I was looking through it. Gotten
Very
lots
fun.
of really good ideas.
Now, Hope got me some coffee, some good Starbucks coffee, dark roast, and it has elements of chocolate and marshmallows in it.
Because we all know Larry's priorities.
You bet. And our sons, James and John, got me this mug. And this, of course, is a Star Trek mug. Isn't that classy? And then on the back, it's got once again, the insignia that they used on the original series. So this has become my favorite coffee mug, and you'll be seeing it a lot on these videos.
Okay, next item that we got. actually real near the bookstore that we love is it's called Two Sisters Antique Mall. And I don't know if you can see that or not. This is
Yeah, you can see it.
very
You can see
cool. It's got those Art Deco kind of elements on it. It's from the 1950s.
It's an orange juice picture.
I love this so much.
We love things.
Our house is
50s.
1958, and one of our goals in 2023, we have two kitchens, one upstairs, one downstairs. One of our goals in 2023 is to repaint and redo the downstairs kitchen to bring it to backdate it to the 1950s. So Hannah, James's girlfriend, got that for me to help me in my quest of taking my kitchen back to the 1950s. I love it. It's got great lines.
And then John's girlfriend, Delaney, does a lot of pottery work. And this is something she made this year. She knows that I love 78 RPM records. I got a huge collection of them. A lot of them go all the way back to 1903, 1904. And so this is a plate. It's a ceramic plate, but it's made to look like a 78 RPM. And I don't think you can read that, but it says...
We'll take a photo of it and we'll stick it in so you can see it up close.
It says Under the Median 2022, Hope and Larry Ware. It's real thick.
Isn't that cool?
And we're going to hang that up and it'll be positioned behind us here in the studio. Really fun gift.
Other than coming on to tell you about the dilemma of our furnace dying in the middle of the coldest day of the year, we did want to share a little bit of our Christmas memories with you, and we wanted to wish you all a little bit of a belated Merry Christmas, an amazing week leading up to a fantastic start to 2023. Now, we mentioned a couple of times that we had done videos in the last 10 days or so, 2 videos, in fact, telling you how to get ready for winter power outages. Even knowing what you know, how it actually turned out with our furnace dying, but our electricity staying on. If you missed all the tips that we gave on how to prep for those sort of situations, that video is right over there. Give it a watch.